Okay, I think we can probably get started, and as folks trickle in, they can definitely pick up on the presentation as we follow it along. So thank you everyone so much for joining today's session on Future Forward Navigating Careers with Indeed. So today we have some presenters from Indeed who will be going over different ways that you can use Indeed to really support your career journey and provide some tips and advice as you move along in your time. We have folks in the chat who are available to answer any questions that you might have. So throughout the presentation, if you do have any questions, you can definitely enter them into the chat. We will also save some time at the end to kind of answer any questions that we're not able to answer in through the chat. But we have folks from Humber and folks from Indeed that are here to kind of support on screen as well as in the chat. So with that, I'll pass it over to Aisha to take it away with the presentation today.
Thanks, Shanice. Thank you all so much for joining. Really appreciate you all being here. And it's great to be working with Humber first time. So we are the Indeed Job Squad. We have a couple of different individuals from our team. I'll get to that in just a moment. But we are essentially a couple of individuals that work for Indeed that are now also supporting with job seekers who are, looking to just get tips and tricks and the best ways to use Indeed. So we'll start there. I'll just go through really quickly with what our agenda for today will be. So first off, we'll start with some intros from myself as well as the other individuals here from Indeed. And then from there, we'll go into a presentation just chatting about the tips and tricks that we recommend and some different things that Indeed offers that maybe you're not aware of just yet. And we'll also, hopefully we'll be taking about 20 to 25, maybe 30 minutes. And then at the end, as Shanice mentioned, we'll have an opportunity for a Q&A. So again, feel free to leave your questions in the chat. Feel free to save them till the end, whatever you prefer, but there will definitely be answered throughout the meeting. Okay, perfect. So first off, I'll intro myself. My name is Aisha. I've worked at Indeed for the last 2 years, and I work here as an account executive. And I have done a couple of different Job Squad events over the last year, but I'll hand it over to Prativa.
Hi, everyone. My name is Prativa. I am a senior client success rep here at Indeed, and I've been here for about 2.5 years. And I will pass it to.
I'm not 100% sure if Lariska was able to get in, so we might just move right past her. I think she's going to hop on a little bit later.
I'm here. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, Aisha.
No worries. You're all.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Flores Camustier, and I am a manager on the client success team, and I've been at Indeed for 3 years now, based out of Montreal.
Perfect. So yeah, feel free to ask any of us a little bit questions later on, but great to be here. So before we begin, although this is obviously a virtual environment, we do have a couple of things that will be happening live in terms of demos. So definitely feel free to follow along if you have either a browser open or your mobile phone and you have the Indeed app downloaded. Both of those would be great ways to be able to follow along with some of the tips that we'll be explaining along the way. I'm going to really quickly just start with this video because I just think it's so fun. This is something that Indeed had created for the 2021 Super Bowl. So I think it's just a really good way to show, our mission statement and how Indeed's mentality is when it comes to our work environment.
You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. And we'll rise up high like the waves. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I'll rise up and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you.
I know it's very emotional, but it was one of our, I feel like, proper team. Let me just switch to the next tab. All right, so I'm going to start here. This is our absolute mission statement at Indeed. All of us, I think, probably say this at least once a day, which is we help people get jobs. It's plastered over everything that we do. We are truly, truly motivated by helping people like yourselves find different opportunities, and just really, really supporting all of our different job seekers. Let me just go next. So I'm going to tell you guys about Indeed if you're not familiar with it, or if you want to see the scale that we're at. Indeed is the #1 job site in the world with over 300 million monthly unique visitors. We are a global company, and Indeed really strives to put job seekers first, giving them free access to search for jobs, to post their resumes, and to research companies. Every day we connect millions of people to new opportunities. Now, in general, these again some stats about Indeed, but the job listings that are posted on Indeed are made up of two different types of job opportunities. One is job listings that employers has posted themselves onto Indeed, and applying to these jobs can take just a few clicks. I'm sure some of you are familiar with it, and you can even track your application status. We'll go over this a little bit more later. And then job listings that are posted elsewhere on the internet are also pulled onto Indeed by our system, anywhere else by an employer, and we've pulled them onto our site as well. So we have a huge collection of job opportunities available. As you can see, there's over 470,000 job listings that are added onto Indeed each month in Canada. So let's get right into it. So today's training is on 10 ways to use Indeed like a pro. Like I mentioned, we'll go over some tips and tricks on how to best use Indeed to get you further along on your job search journey and set you up for success. Again, this would be a great opportunity that if you would like to go side by side to this, feel free to log on to the Indeed site and go ahead and start the process of accessing your account. But tip 1 is just getting started. The easiest way to launch your search is to create an account on Indeed. By creating an account on Indeed, you can experience a more tailored and enhanced job search experience. With an Indeed profile that highlights your job preferences and resume, you'll receive more relevant jobs than you can apply to within just a few clicks. Plus, you'll receive tips directly to your inbox to help you navigate your job search and your experience on Indeed. So when you create a brand new account, you'll receive an email from Indeed support to confirm your email address and to confirm your Indeed account. Be sure to confirm it so that way you can continue to use all of Indeed's features. If you want to search Indeed right from your phone, we would suggest downloading the Indeed Job Search app, which you can easily search and apply to jobs from, as well as to access other services from Indeed, including guidance for your entire job search journey. The next tip that we recommend is uploading or creating a resume on Indeed profile. So the purpose of your resume is to obviously present your most relevant experiences and skills in a format that's easier for employers to read. Once you sign up for a free account with Indeed, you have the option to either upload a pre-existing resume that you had maybe created prior, or you can use Indeed's online tools to actually help you build your resume. So if this is the first time you're building a resume, this would be a great tool for you. If you decide to proceed with your resume, you fill out each section, starting with your name and then followed by your education and your experience. Now, we like some key aspects for resume specifically. So if you're creating a new resume, remember to include the essential elements. So of course, there's always room for creativity and some individuality in a resume, but there are some things that it absolutely should contain. First off, of course, being your contact information. So your full name, your city, email address, phone number. Next would be going into your education or your certificates. So make sure that you showcase your expertise, highlight any educational certificates, degrees, or any training courses if you've done so. Any work or volunteer experience would be next. Make sure that you try and include this in the most recent and chronological order. Moving forward from that would be your skills. So make sure you add your level of mastery for your skills as well. If there's anything that you're highly trained in, it'd be great to advertise that on your resume. Like, just for example, like if you are either fluent in French or conversational, just make sure that you communicate what level you're actually at. And then beyond that, of course, any additional components would be, awards or any other specific job preferences, maybe any additional information that you feel would be beneficial for an employer to be able to view on their resume. Now, another tip with this is specifically for Indeed is that when you are setting up your resume, when you upload or create a resume on Indeed, you can either set your resume to private or to public. So if you want employers to be able to search for you, you can set your resume to public. Now, with Indeed resume, your personal information won't be shown until you agree to communicate with an employer after they've set out their interest in you. But if your resume is set to private, your resume is hidden from the employer search, but it can still be used to apply to jobs on Indeed. One of my huge recommendations is definitely to set it to public so that way you become part of the Indeed resume database that employers have access to. It's a great platform for employers to directly reach out to you based on the fact that you meet all of their criteria. Now, this is something that we actually did as a little bit of a study about how employers think when it comes to reading resumes. So employers spend an average of 7.4 seconds reviewing a resume. Now, of course, we understand that it's a very short time for you to get an employer's attention. So making sure that you use a format that is easy to read and highlights your top skills and accomplishments definitely would help employers quickly understand the value that you can bring. Like I just mentioned earlier, talking about how employers actually search up candidate resumes on Indeed, they use something called Indeed Resume that they use the what and where prompts to basically search for resumes by job title or by industry or by location. So since such searches can return thousands of resumes, they can then use filters similar to how you would if you're looking for a job opportunity, and advanced search techniques to refine their results to show resumes that feature the skills or experience that they need. Now, with a public resume on Indeed, employers can search for and find you. To make a good impression, you need to put your best foot forward through your resume. Now, there are some immediate benefits to having your resume on Indeed. First of all, your resume looks great because Indeed formats your resume so that it can be shared with employers on mobile, tablet, desktop. So if you want a hard copy of your resume, you're also able to download the resume button on the right, and it'll generate a PDF version for you to save or print. The next thing is, of course, it makes it easier to apply to jobs. With an Indeed resume, you can apply to jobs with a few clicks, even from your phone. We'll go over what tags on job postings to look for so that you can easily apply on Indeed.com. And like we mentioned, it allows employers to discover you if you have your resume set to public. Job seekers with an Indeed resume hear from employers 4 times more often than those without. Take time to highlight your hard and soft skills. Hard skills refer to job-related knowledge and abilities. So for example, like database management or bilingual, whereas soft skills refer to personal traits. So like effective communication or dependability. Indeed has over 150 skill tests designed by experts to demonstrate job seeker talent and capabilities. And as well, some employers actually add assessments to their job postings. In other regions, you may be asked by a prospective employer to actually take a particular assessment when you're applying to a specific job. I'm gonna do a quick little show of this. So we have a really, really great tool called the Indeed Career Guide. So if you need help with writing your resume or advice on any step of your way, Indeed has consulted with career coaches, recruiters, hiring managers, and product experts to put together a guide that will help you achieve your goals. So on your career guide, you can find advice from everything from how to research companies to interview tips to common questions. This is the live link for the career guide. There is an abundance of information on here. For example, Indeed Career Guide has sample resumes for various industries and positions at multiple different experience levels. So you can then choose to mimic a similar resume to the one that's on here. Reading these resume samples can be useful to see how other people have written about their skills and experiences. You can also get a sense of like the specific language and the vocabulary that they use within a particular industry or company. Also, dependent on the region, the career guide also has relevant articles for job seekers with different lived experiences, such as people with criminal records, disabilities, and those without a traditional educational background. This link will also be provided to you via email from Humber as well at the end. Let me just switch back. All right. So wanting to take your job search further with some professional help, with Indeed's Career Services, we partner with career coach experts to help you get one-on-one support in either upgrading your resume, acing your next interview, making sure that you're getting paid what you're worth, or getting closer to your career goals. So you're actually able to first request for this service. It is a paid service after one point, but there are also many, many free options, such as doing video interview prep or having an opportunity to get an instant scan of your resume and get some recommendations based off of that. You can also access the Career Services Suite in your actual Indeed user account underneath Resume Help. Next up is researching our companies. So I'm going to switch over to another tab here. This is an example of an Indeed company page. So now that you've set up your resume and shown your skills on Indeed, it's time to talk about searching for jobs. So researching potential employers can make your job search more effective. This research comes in handy at 3 times during a job search. First, when you're deciding what kind of employer that you'd actually like to work for. 2, when you're ready to actually apply. And 3, when you're actually interviewing. So you can use what are called Indeed company pages to find out detailed information about employers around the world. There are more than 850 plus million total ratings and reviews on Indeed. And with company pages, you can read reviews and Q&As from the past and present, where employees are covering areas like company culture, salary, job advancement, and work-life balance. You can also do a side-by-side comparison with companies in similar industries with each other. You're able to see what type of jobs are currently available at that company. And you're also able to learn more about the work well-being of employees at that company. Now, developed in partnership with leading happiness and well-being experts, the Work Well-Being Score measures how people feel at work based on 4 key well-being outcomes: happiness, purpose, satisfaction, and stress-free. You can also actually follow a company if there's somebody that you're really, really interested in working for, and get email alerts when new jobs are posted. Company pages can help you learn what it's really like to work at a company. I'm going to really quickly show you guys how to be able to navigate to here. If you're on the Indeed site, there are 3 options that pop up on the top right, top left. First is the main homepage. This would permit you to be able to search up different job opportunities as well as companies and locate it to a specific region that you're looking to find employment. However, when you switch over to the company review section, you're able to search up any company. I'm going to use the same example that we had earlier. Ventana Construction is a company that I'm very familiar with. I've gone in, taken a look at have to offer, and they have their opportunities posted within the jobs section right away here. You're able to see everything that they have available at the moment, as well as a little bit of information about who they are. We want to check to see if it's worth it for us to spend 40 hours a week at this company. Do we see career growth opportunities? There's a lot of information here that can really demonstrate how much they actually care about their employees and whether or not you would enjoy specifically working in this environment. Sorry about that. One quick second here, guys. How are we doing on time? We're still doing okay, I think. Perfect. All right, go back in because I accidentally closed the slideshow. One quick second. All right. Everybody should be able to see my screen from here, and we'll keep going. Okay, there we go. Now let's talk about searching Indeed. So using Indeed is just like using a general search engine like Google. So first, in the what box, type a description of the type of job that you're actually looking for, such as a job title, skill, or employer name. Next, in the where box, type the city, the province, or postal code where you want to find a job. And now finally, click Find Jobs and press Enter on your keyboard to go to your search results page. The search results will contain jobs with all of the words in the what box, including that Indeed searches are not case sensitive. So that means that you can enter uppercase or lowercase letters and get the same results. Indeed has more than 25 million job listings. So the first way that you want to narrow your search results is to be specific about what you're looking for. For instance, today we searched up sales in Austin, Texas, and got over 19 jobs in a specific case. But if we were to look at it on a different day or in a different region, we could have a different volume of job opportunities that appear. So another way to hone in on your best jobs is to filter by job search results. And you have the options for salary, location, as well as the type of job on the search engine results page. So for instance, we can use these filters to find only medical sales jobs that are full-time or within 10 miles of Austin, Texas. In this case, we have 25 miles of Austin, Texas. Once you find some search results that you're interested in, you can set up job alerts. Job alerts are email updates about new jobs that fit the criteria that you're looking for. It's a really, really convenient way to see if new job postings as soon as an employer actually posts them. And you can also create multiple different job alerts to be sent to you either daily or weekly. Now, to activate job alerts, enter your email and click activate on the right-hand side at the top of your search results page. On a mobile phone, job alerts are at the button of your search results page. Scroll to the bottom of the search results page, enter your email and click activate, as you can see on the slide right here. Be sure to figure out the best searches to get to the types of job postings you want before setting up a job alert. That way, the email updates are more likely to contain new jobs that are truly a fit for your needs. If your job alert is too broad, you'll likely get too many emails with jobs that you're not interested in. And as well, from your account, you can manage alerts by setting how often you'd like to receive email updates and by pausing or deleting alerts. Now, once you find a job that you're actually interested in, it's of course time to apply. So with an Indeed resume, you can apply for jobs in just a few clicks. If you're already signed into your profile, applying with your Indeed resume will be the default option for you for completing an application. But keep an eye out for jobs that have the apply with your Indeed resume, apply now, or easily apply labels. That would all fall under the Indeed resume category. Your resume is sent directly rather than redirecting you to an entirely different company website that I'm sure everybody's familiar with, or towards an applicant tracking system to re-input all of your resume information. Now, you can also stay organized and on task by using your Indeed account as a hub for all of your job search activity. If you signed in, you can quickly save jobs as you're searching and return to them later. You'll be easily able to see and update the status of each job. You can have it saved, applied, interviewing, offered, and hired. You can see this information on the My Jobs page of your account. As well as from your account inbox, you can review any messages that you get from employers that is specifically for jobs you're applying to on Indeed. You can also manage your email subscriptions under email preferences, deleting job alerts that are no longer relevant maybe, or pausing alerts that you may want later, or to create new ones. Now, the amount of time it takes to review a job application varies for each job and company. So, just keep up the momentum, make sure that you're optimizing all of your efforts, make sure you use and build your network, make sure you do your research, and always remember some self-care. Now, preparing for the actual interview. The interview and hiring process is handled differently at each company. So Indeed has extensive advice and guidance about how to prepare for interviews, like interview etiquette, what to wear, how to follow up, and how to explain gaps in your resume or how to handle tough questions. These links will be provided either in the chat or at the end. Now, this is again referring to the career guide that I brought up earlier. There's many different opportunities for you to be able to navigate through dozens of different career questions, as well as some recommendations on answers and what else you could potentially need for an interview. Now, as you prepare for an interview, you may be considering which questions the employer is going to ask you. And of course, there's no way to know, but there are several popular interview questions that you can expect to be asked. So much like preparing for a test in school, the best way to succeed in an interview is to study and practice. So do research on the company and the job and practice your talking points until you feel confident about your answers. The more you prepare, the more likely you are to leave a lasting impression and outperform fellow candidates. These are just a list of some of the common interview questions that do appear in the interviews process. All right, well, we've gotten through a majority of the actual presentation. So, let's just review really quickly. First step, leverage your account. So really take advantage of the Indeed account option. Definitely create an account and be able to create and upload your resume. Another key thing that employers are always looking for is your skills. So really make sure that you're highlighting this within your resume, within every application that you submit, as well as that you're providing detailed information about that, because that is huge. Do take advantage of the Indeed Career Guide. This is a useful platform for students just like yourselves, as well as any individual that's looking for an opportunity. There is dozens and dozens of resources available in there. Make sure that you always do your research for different companies before you actually consider applying. There is an abundance of information available on Indeed company pages like we looked at earlier, and this will have a good amount of information that you need to know before going into the application stage. Now, of course, search for jobs on Indeed and try to make that process simpler for you. So you want to automate your search by using job alerts, make sure that you're using the easy apply feature to apply for jobs instantly, as well as maintaining and tracking your status. And then last, but of course not least, is of course preparing for the actual interview itself. Now, one thing that I did want to mention is that we do have a huge push on helping job seekers who are facing barriers. Now, at Indeed, we know that talent is universal, but opportunity definitely is not. We're striving to create a world where job seekers everywhere have equal opportunity to find fulfilling jobs and constantly trying to improve our website to be helpful to all job seekers. Here's a reminder about different ways job seekers who are facing barriers in their job search can find tools on Indeed and help them in their journey. So, of course, the career guide, which, as we mentioned, also has relevant articles with job seekers with different lived experiences, like I mentioned, with criminal records, disabilities, or without a traditional educational background. You can also search specific terms to job seekers who are facing barriers. We also have the Indeed's Job Seeker Help Center that is available for you to use. Again, the link will be provided, as well as filters in search results that let you filter by jobs. So for example, where no college diploma is required or where a specific language is preferred. In terms of accessibility tips around how to use the Indeed website in an accessible way, Indeed's products support various browsers and all. We are also, again, going to provide the links at the end of the call. Now, explaining some gaps in employment. I think this is such a huge question that people discuss these days. Now, you may be confused or unsure about how to present some part of your work history. While it wouldn't be noted on your resume, you may want to prepare an explanation for your cover letter or your interview. Similarly, if you have a gap in your employment history, the first thing to know is that you are not alone. Having a gap on your resume won't necessarily prevent you from moving successfully through the interview process. However, potential employers may expect an explanation. So take the time beforehand to work out how you can address the gap in a way that projects confidence and positivity. Remember to be honest and to give specifics on how you spent that time. For instance, mention anything you read to keep up on the industry, how you stayed in touch with colleagues, or what you've done to prepare for your re-entry into the workforce. Also, bring up any freelance work, volunteer work, or community positions that you've held, any classes or events that you've attended, or in any other way that you've advanced your professional skills. The goal is to convey that you've been engaged even if you haven't been formally employed. And now lastly, one of my favorites, make sure you share your story. So if you've made it through the search and landed a job, Indeed would love to hear your story. And you can actually share your story at gotajob.indeed.com. This is a platform where you can actually listen to many other stories if you're looking for a little bit of motivation and to know that you're not alone. Now, overall, thank you all so much for listening today. I'm going to leave this up really quickly to take our survey if you wanted to go ahead and scan the QR code and be able to fill it out. But I do think that we'll be able to start with any questions.
Alrighty. So attendees, if you do have any questions, feel free to enter those into the chat box right now. We've got some time for folks to answer any questions here. So we have lots of folks from Indeed here to kind of support any questions you might have. So I'll wait a couple minutes to see if any folks have some questions that come through. But one question that I had, just based on kind of my experience with working with students and, job search is such a big part of, students' experience and finding that one job. And Indeed is one of the platforms that we, of course, recommend a lot because it is such a great platform to use. But I'm wondering if you have any information about how what Indeed does to kind of filter through scam postings. That's something that a lot of our students kind of experience in different job boards and stuff, or postings that maybe they're not sure if it's a real posting. Sometimes students aren't sure. Like some postings have, so much detail and information, while others might not have as much. And yeah, do you have any tips or advice for navigating those types of issues?
Absolutely. That's actually such a great question, and something that, as somebody who works directly with employers, we get a lot of random scam jobs that pop up. And if anything, it's such a huge topic of conversation. So a couple of things that I would definitely recommend to pay attention to is that first off, we at Indeed are trying our best to actually minimize what's going on from these scam jobs. So anything that comes across, we have an incredible team at Indeed that really goes into the system to try and pull as many of those down as possible. And so hopefully in the coming years, we'll be able to see that that issue isn't as much of a problem. However, side by side to that, I think a couple of things that I would take a look at in order to determine whether or not it is in fact a scam job is actually the company pages. Every employer at Indeed has an opportunity to connect with somebody from Indeed for the most part. And so as a result, we always do provide recommendations on adding content and providing extra details for potential job seekers on the actual Indeed company pages. So when you're taking a look at these pages, if you're noticing that they are entirely blank and or they don't really have much information, they have no history, there might potentially be a little bit of a scam option. Now, at the same time, maybe do a double check. I'd recommend doing one search here, maybe a Google search simultaneously, and just confirm if they do in fact have a web presence as well, maybe a physical location, and that should give you a little bit of a better idea. Another thing is that we also give best practices to our employers in terms of their job descriptions. So often, if they're short and small and pretty concise, those tend to be something that maybe was popped up quite randomly. Whereas if they're a little bit more detailed and long, I would also always recommend that if there isn't a company name listed in there, unless it states that it's confidential, it's likely not real. And feel free to report any postings that you do not feel are in fact real as well. There is an option directly on the posting itself, and that actually really helped us out as well. So anything that you come across, definitely report it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's super helpful. So I got a couple of questions here in the chat and Q&A. So our first question here is from Natasha. She's asking, do you have a job seekers video that walks people through how to create an account and look for jobs similar to kind of what you did today, available on your website?
I believe we do. Definitely something that would likely be on the career guide. I can try and see if we can find some links, and then I can definitely share it with Shanice and Marielle and have that sent out to the team.
Awesome, that's perfect. Thank you. Okay, we have another question from Yanni. So is it possible that some job postings have been filled, but the posting hasn't been taken down from the website? Any tips on how to navigate this?
That is such a great question, Yanni. So definitely, there absolutely is the potential for some old and lingering postings to be up there. However, a lot of times what it is that an employer might be hiring for the same role consistently throughout the year because they have multiple positions that they are looking to fill. I'm going to just show an example of this. Let's just try customer service, and I'll just do a really broad search. You guys are able to see my screen? Perfect. Okay, so for example, something that says within the posting, it actually lets you know how old the posting is, which I'm sure maybe some of you are familiar with. So it'll actually say they're just posted, the last time that they were active, and then a lot of them will say posted 30 plus days ago. Now, these are posts that, again, the the employer might have created years prior, but on our end, the system actually prompts them to refresh their postings. So now more than ever, you should be seeing a larger, I would say, frequency of job postings being refreshed on the site. So meaning you'll see more of the active 2 to like 14 days mark rather than the posted 30 days ago. However, in terms of it being filled and not necessarily taken down, I would say that it probably wouldn't be the large majority. It would more so just be that you're one of many, many candidates that are in the process of being reviewed, as well as that they're likely hiring continuously throughout the year. And so as a result, they might not be hiring just yet, but if anything, they're keeping you as a warm resume to reach out to later. So definitely still worth the opportunity to apply. But if you're looking for somebody that's actively looking, for some employment, I would definitely recommend taking a look at this specific section of the actual postings, because it'll give you a really good idea as to when they actually posted it and obviously how interested they are in hiring somebody immediately.
Awesome, perfect. That's really great to know. Thank you so much. So I'm just looking to see, I don't think we have any more questions. I'll maybe take another minute for folks to see if anything comes through. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us today. Like we mentioned at the beginning, I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but the session is recorded. So if you missed some of the topics that were talked about today or wanted to come back and rewatch, we will be posting it on our Career Month website. So you can always go back and rewatch it and learn about all the tips and resources. And we'll also share all the links that the Indeed team has shared in the chat with us today and share those with the folks who have attended this session. But yeah, it looks like we don't have any more questions, but I want to thank you, Aisha, thank you so much for this presentation, and our folks who are in the chat helping out from Indeed. Really appreciate it. I know lots of folks use Indeed every day. Lots of Humber students are always on there. And so it's great to know these little insider tips and things to do. So yeah, thank you so much. And thank you everybody for joining us. Just a reminder, we have a survey that you can do on the screen for the Indeed presentation. We will also be sharing a survey for Humber Career Month. So if you did participate in this event or any other events part of our Career Month, you can also complete our survey. But yeah, thank you guys so much. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their day.
Thank you so much, Humber team. Thanks, Shanice. And yeah, great seeing everybody. Hopefully this session was helpful, and definitely look out for the email with the links that will be sent out afterwards.
Bye, everyone.
We're good to go. Have a great day.